macaroni pie. So I boil an entire pot of macaroni. I'm going to use a half cup of cheese and 2 tablespoons of butter to melt after this boil, right? And I'm going to also put 1 egg. This is just optional for those who are vegan. I'm going to add in a half cup of milk, salt to taste, some Cajun seasoning, some Italian seasoning, and some ketchup and mustard. Okay, so first of all, we're just going to add in the half cup of cheese and the butter and mix this up once it is hot. Right, once this is mixed in a separate pot, we're going to actually hot about 4 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to add in another half cup of cheese and a half cup of milk. So I just added my milk, and now I'm going to add my cheese. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of flour. I'm going to mix this all up. You're going to mix it until it gets a little thick, and you're going to lock this off and just cook it with the heat. Some people put onions in this, and if you're using the onions, you just put like a small half diced onions in this, and you can even add some chive, but I like to add it separate, right? And this is your cheese, right? So once this is finished, you're going to actually add like a half cup of this to the mixture. So you basically divide it into 2. So 1 goes into the macaroni and 1 goes on top. Right, so once this is there, now I'm going to add some Cajun seasoning, about basically a teaspoon, some black pepper, some Italian seasoning. I actually average all of this to be like a teaspoon, 2 for the most. Right, some parsley, a little bit of oregano, right, and I'm going to mix this up. But I also cut like 5 chives, right, 5 straws of chive, and I'm actually just going to add this in there, right, and I'm going to put my half cup of milk, and basically like 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Usually I use mustard. I have no mustard on me, but if I'm using mustard, I'm like using like 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to mix up all of this. Once it's mixed well, you'll see like it's really nice and cheesy. And now you're going to add it into your pan, a greased pan, and you're going to put it to bake for at least 25 minutes on low heat, or unless you see it like golden brown. Right, so I'm going to put this in my pan. Once I put in my macaroni in my pan, greased pan, I'm going to evenly try and spread this rest of cheese on here, and then I'm going to put the rest of my grated cheese on top of this layer of cheese. Once you've already put on your cheese, now you could like sprinkle some parsley, your chive, and a little bit of Italian seasoning on top. Right, once it actually looks like this, some people like to add the ketchup on top. I am one of those. This, however, is not necessary. And there. So now I'm going to put this to bake for at least 25 minutes or until golden brown. Comes out really nice and clean. It's very, very cheesy and moist. So this is how it looks. Macaroni pie, as you see the edges have to get golden brown, and this is where I took it off. You do a knife test once it comes out nice and clean, because you don't want it too dry, so it could be a little bit moist, and you take this off, because remember all the ingredients was already cooked, and that's how you make a nice cheesy macaroni pie.